Shri Sadi Gaur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 17. Would somebody like to read?
I can read.
Yeah.
Avinashi tu, no, you will read, no?
Okay, Avinashi tu tadvidhi,
Avinashi tu tadvidhi,
yena sarvam idam tatam,
yena sarvam idam tatam,
vinasham avyayasyasya,
yasya
ya kaschit kartum arhati.
kaschit kartum arhati. Translation. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. And anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body, in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and everybody is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Shvetasvatara Upanishad confirms this. Balagra Sata Bhagasya Satada Kalpitasya Cha Bhago Jiva Sa Vijneya Sa Chanyan Taya Kalpate. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is a measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same virgin is stated. Kesagra Sata Bhagyasya Satam Saha Satmaka Jiva Sukshma Swarupoyam Sankhya He Chitkana. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured at 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair. Therefore, the individual particle of the spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This is very small spiritual spark is the basic. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In the Mundaka Upanishad, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. Eso nur atma chetasa vedita vayo yasmin pranha पाण्यकादचादातं विवेशा प्रणयश्चितं सर्वं ओतं प्रजानं यस्मिन् विसुधे vibhavati esa atma. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apanya, vyana, samana, and udanya. It's situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, nor for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So, the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literature, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of the atomic soul as all pervading Vishnu Tattva. The influence The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart, along with the super soul. And thus, all the energies movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles, which carry the oxygen from the lungs, gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes from away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha, or superior energy. So, whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body. And the science of the soul is explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita by the personality of Godhead Himself.
Thank you. So, what are we reading? Would anyone like to say? What's the size of the soul that we just read?
1/10,000 of one strand of hair, tip of the hair.
Yeah, tip of the head. And so many scriptures are there. The Shruteshvatara Upanishad is saying this. And then again, it is said in the uh, Mundaka Upanishad is saying this. So there is evidence of the presence of the soul, not only the presence, but also the size of the soul. Now, materially, we do not have any gauge to check the size of the soul because the soul is spiritual. But from the spiritual scriptures, we can understand the size of the soul. How can we understand that the soul is in the body? How can we understand that? One, that the scriptures are telling us that, hey, you're not the body, you're the soul. Krishna is saying it in the Bhagavad Gita. Just now we heard Shruteshvatara Upanishad is saying, Mundaka Upanishad is saying. There are so many scriptures saying the same thing. Bhagavatam repeatedly says that you're not the body, you're the soul. How can we practically also explain that?
क्योंकि हम अलाइव हैं और सब काम कर रहे हैं सब अपने इंद्रियों से, क्योंकि आत्मा है तभी ये शरीर चल रहा है.
हाँ, और अगर आत्मा निकल जाती है शरीर से तो फिर
नो मोर, नो मोर.
Yeah, no more. That's right. Because the soul is present in the body, we have activity, we are doing things. Otherwise, it's a dead body. We don't want to keep it also. We say, let's do something with it as soon as possible, either cremate or whatever. Different people will do different things. So till the time the soul is there, the body seems to be living, but it's actually the soul that is living. We can see, what's that? Because the earth the body is made of earth, water, air, fire, ether. Building is also made of earth, water, air, fire, ether. Building does not move, but the body is moving. Why? Because the soul is inside. And the presence of the soul, Prabhupada is saying, is we can understand by consciousness. We are conscious. The influence is spread all over the body. Even if we get a small needle prick here, it hurts. It hurts. But if you do that to a dead body, there's no consciousness there. Dead body, we are even burning it. It doesn't scream. But somebody were to burn when the soul is inside, it's going to scream and pain. So every individual soul is inside one body only. This is the difference between Atma and Paramatma. What's the difference between the soul and the super soul?
हम अणु है और विभू है। परमात्मा विभू है, अणु है, अणु यानी
हाँ, हम अणु है। हाँ, और
आत्मा विभू है, अनंत
हाँ,
है।
हाँ, और हम एक टाइम पे खाली एक ही बॉडी में हो सकते हैं।
और परमात्मा
एक ही
सारी
शरीर
दुनिया,
जो अणु
ब्रह्मांड,
आत्मा है।
सारे ब्रह्मांड में है
हाँ,
परमात्मा।
परमात्मा सारे ब्रह्मांड में है। Paramatma is there even in the atom of every atom of the universe, also in the heart of every living entity. We are only inside our own body. We are not in other people's body. We cannot feel what the other person is feeling. We cannot be conscious. We cannot say, yes, I am you. No, we can't. We can only be conscious of our own body. We can, because we are so anu, as Auntie Rashmi rightly said, we are very tiny. 1/10,000 the tip of a hair. So where can we be? Only occupy that much space, right? So we cannot be everywhere. It's the Paramatma that's everywhere. Because sometimes we make this mistake. We think that we are everywhere. We are the Paramatma, all pervading. But no, it's the soul only. We are only the soul. We are not the Paramatma. That's the difference. Is that okay? And then, of course, Prabhupada is saying that the Hatha Yoga system, why is the yogi doing this kind of exercises, sitting postures, to release the soul from this 5 kind of air: Pran, Apan, Vyan, Saman, and Udan. You know, we hear, oh, iske pran nikal gaye. That was traditional way of saying. Now we don't even say all these things. Pran is the life air, which is keeping the soul inside the body. So even the Hatha Yoga system is to liberate the soul from the body. And then Prabhupada is pointing out that even the modern scientists, they say that the heart is the seat of the energy. The heart is beating, so the whole body is working, and the soul is actually sitting there. Now we may say, but I can't see it. Well, because the size is so small. And also we do not have the spiritual eyes. We need a particular, for example, we can't see the bacteria that's in front of us. But if we bring a suitable microscope, suitable lens, we'll be able to see it. So right now our eyes are material. But if we see with spiritual eyes, we will be able to see. So all the authorities, the scriptures, Krishna, all the great authorities, they explain and give us the evidence of the soul. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So what happens is we are the soul. We are not the body, but we are inside the body. And thinking, now what is illusion? As Shinam just put the question, what is illusion? Is we are thinking that we are the body. That is what is illusion. The correct way to understand is that we are the soul, but right now we are inside this material body because we are here. It's not that we are not inside the body. How we can feel if somebody slaps us, we'll be like, hey, what happened? I got hurt. We'll get up immediately. What happened? Why you slapped me? So we are inside the body. But we thinking we are the body. That is an illusion. Okay. Antavanta ime deha
Antavanta ime dekha
nitya shukta sharirena
nitya sukta sarirena
anashino aprameyasya
anasino pramayesya
yasmad yudyasva bharata.
tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Translation: the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Purport: the material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately, or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So, from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity, cannot, as he is, cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. The minute particles of the whole spirit acquire this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In the Vedanta Sutras, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains the body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjuna has advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations.
So Krishna is telling, because Arjuna is like, no, I'm not going to fight. So Krishna is saying, see, the body, the material body which we have, no matter how long we try to preserve it, it's going to finish at one time. We may try to pamper the body to whatever degree we want. We can try to make it look as young as we want. We can do various surgeries, all those different things, Botox, surgeries, whatever is there, the new um, discoveries to make the body look young, make it look nice. But no matter what we try, at one day, it is going to finish. That's the nature of the material world. It's temporary. The body is temporary. This is a material law which we cannot change. And we may try to make it look young, make it look more comfortable, all those things, yeah, we can do. But we cannot preserve it permanently. We cannot say, oh, I'm now going to leave this body. No. But what about the soul? The soul is eternal. So the soul never dies. We may say, no, I want to kill the soul, but we can never kill it. Why? Because it's spiritual. It's spiritual. That's why even after liberation, we continue to exist. We may say, oh, I'm so frustrated of existing. I don't want to exist anymore. So I'm going to become the light. But even if we go to the light, we still exist. We can never not exist. So, see, the body, no matter how much we try to preserve it, it is going to perish one day. And the soul no matter how much we try to kill it, can never be killed, because one is material, one is spiritual. And so that's why Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're trying to preserve the bodies of these of your family, but it's better you do your duty, because this is war is a war of righteousness. The Pandavas have been wronged by the Kurus. And so that's the reason Krishna wants this war. He wants the world to be ruled by the devotees, righteous kings. And then here Prabhupada is also saying that as sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. Yeah, as we said, the difference between a living body and a dead body. As soon as the soul is out of the body, we call it a dead body. But, so that means it's the soul that was maintaining the body, isn't it? Because when the soul leaves, we are saying the body is dead, cannot move, cannot do anything. But till the time the soul is there, we can work, we can move our hands, eyes, we can do things. So it's the soul. Yeah. Anything more to add or any comment? Okay, let's continue.
Nothing.
Ya enam veti hantaram.
Ya enam veti hantaram.
Yaschenam manyate hatam.
Yaschenam manyate hatam.
Ubhautau na vijanito.
Ubhautau na vijanito.
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
Nayam hanti na hanyate. Translation. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not nor is slain. Purport. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that a living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as will be evident from subsequent verses. Nor is a living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed or supposed to be killed is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is Ma himsyat sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone, nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjuna, however, is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically.
So someone may hear this verse. Oh, the soul can never be slain. It's the body that's being killed. The soul can never be killed. So one may misuse this verse. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Not that because we hear this, then we go around committing violence to others. No, we can never commit violence to anyone. It is a body is given to the particular soul by Krishna, by the laws of material nature, and we do not have a right to take that away. So even though it's the body that is being killed, as we are reading, the body is material. So the body finishes. But the soul is eternal, it's spiritual. So it can never be killed. Never. Death means the change of the body. The soul gives up one body to take up another body. That is what is death. But the soul continues to live. Now, the next body of the soul depends on the activities that one commits, what one engages in. What are the activities we are doing in this body? Based on that, we will get our next body. Yes. Whatever activities we are doing now, then laws of karma will provide us another body based on that. That's the reason there's 8,400,000 species based on our guna and karma, the modes, our desires, and our activities. So reading on. Na jayate mriyate va kadachan.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचन
Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya.
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूया
Ajo nitya shasvato yam purano.
अजो नित्य सस्वतो यम पुराणो
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
न हम्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Translation. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragment, part of the Supreme Spirit, is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or the kutastha. The body is subject to six kinds of transformation. It takes its birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effect, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not grow through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on in a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. And that is, that there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old as the body does. The so called old man therefore feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproduct of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, appear they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the six changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad, we also find a similar passage which reads, "Na jayate mriyate va vipaschin Nayam kutachin na babuva kaschit ajo nitya savastu yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire." The meaning and purport of this verse is same as in the Bhagavad Gita. But here in this verse there is one special word, vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge, or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart, where it is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul by simply the presence of the consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds or for some other reason, but the lights of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is little light in the sky early the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether men or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because the Supreme consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgotten soul. If so, Krishna teachings of the Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anuatma, and the super soul, Vibhuatma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad in this way. Anor Anyasyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Janto Nihito Guayam Tam Akritva Pasvyati Vitha Sukho Dharu Prasadan Mahi Manam Atmana. Both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living entity. And only one who has become free from all the material desires as well as limitations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul, Krishna. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapter. And Arjuna is the atomic soul, required forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master.
So would you like to say something about this verse? Anyone? Would anyone like to say something?
That the soul undergoes no change. The soul is
Yes, undergoes no changes. That's right.
yeah undergoes no
Yeah, it's the
changes,
body.
and the body is
Mm-hmm.
subjected to all kinds of transformations.
Mm. So the changes that are taking place is actually to the body, not to the soul, right?
Yeah,
Like we are thinking, oh, I'm taking birth, I'm staying, I'm growing. But actually, it's not we, but it's the body that's doing that. Now, and then the body has byproducts, but the soul has no byproducts here, we are saying.
yeah, and the soul doesn't take birth nor dies.
Yeah, the soul has no byproducts. The byproducts are of the body,
Mm.
children. They are also different souls. We do not create the soul. No point are we able to create a soul. We cannot even create a seed, or to speak of a human being. So it's the soul. But we are thinking that we are the body. That is our illusion. We continuously think that we are the body. Here, the soul has no birth, therefore he has no past, present, or future. Like in the material world, we are used to something having a manufacture date, and expiry date, birth date, death date. So that is to the material things. But the soul, there's no birth date. So that's why there's no death date. Always exists. Soul does not become old. It's the body that's becoming old. So we may think, oh, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. But that's the body. The soul actually is eternal. So Katha Upanishad is saying the same thing. And then again here Prabhupada is saying consciousness is the symptom of the soul. And he's giving us a very nice analogy that sometimes it's so cloudy we can't see the sun, but the light is there. So we know the sun is there. Otherwise it would be dark as night. So similarly, we are not able to see the soul, but the consciousness is there. So then we can understand that the soul is present by the presence of consciousness. Now, this soul is not only present in human beings, it's also in all living entities, whichever body it may be in. Birds, fish, there's so many different living entities everywhere. Bacteria, insects, reptiles, cows. The soul is there in all these bodies. It's just different bodies that the soul has taken on. Is that okay? And then here, both the Katha Upanishad tells this. that the soul and the super soul are there in the same heart. And there are two souls inside the body. One is the soul. We are the soul, atomic soul, the Jivatma, the Anuatma. And together sitting with us is the Paramatma, the Vibhuatma, the super soul. And then Prabhupada is writing, one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme Mantra, understand the glories of the soul. This is in Kathapanishad. So we like here, Arjuna is also forgetting his relationship, that he is a soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is giving him the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, we have also forgotten that, oh, I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. And so the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is so important for us to help us understand our real position. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay if we can stop here for today? So sorry, just things have come up.
Okay. Yeah.
Shla Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.